Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, I did a video saying that Kuwait and Iraq should not be compared, and I explained why. Like I did in the past, I go back to these types of videos and look at the comments and respond to them in another video. This is my way of being able to interact with people who see my videos. So I will go down, as usual, read the comments, and answer any questions the best that I can. Before I get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. That's right, just reach down and click that little button real quick. It does help out the channel. It helps us get past the algorithms that shadow ban us from non-subscribed viewers. And if you are not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it does help out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. And you guys know, if you're thinking about buying gold and silver, and right now is a great time to do so. Go to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and it will give you a free half ounce of silver. Patty, what is Patty saying? You're straightening everyone out, Pimp. These last 3 videos are full of information and truth. Thanks for all the research you're doing. We all appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words, Patty. Thank you so much. I do my best to get the information. I just share my opinion with you. It's up to everybody else how they want to digest the information. Obviously, there are a lot of people out there that suffer from cognitive dissonance. They've convinced themselves it's only one way and one way only, and they don't want to hear any other. They don't want to hear any other possible options out there, and so they get really pissy about it. But that's fine. I understand. I totally get it. And again, I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying. I would love to wake up in the morning one day and find out that the rate is $3.22. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm talking about the probability and the reality of what I believe the rate is going to be, or how the rate is going to change. Of course, the Iraq and Kuwait situations are totally different. One was invaded and the other one was the invader. One was declared a terrorist and the other was declared the victim. But both cases, the devaluations were done to cripple the use of the money to prevent Saddam from using the currency for financing his wars, terrorism, and for overtaking the entire Middle East. Obviously, a necessary action. Iraq has been released from sanctions totally. The lower denominations await distribution. The RV will happen soon. And it won't be any little penny ante increment bullshit either. Well, again, I hope so, but that doesn't seem realistic to me, because I understand how the exchange rates affect the economies. I would love nothing better than to wake up and find a rate at 322. What I'm doing is sharing my opinion based on rationality on what's going to happen to the rate. That doesn't mean I'm right. It's just my opinion. Very educational. Thanks once again. Most people don't explain it like you do. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate the kind words. You know, that's one thing about a lot of the people watching my videos. They at least appreciate what's going on. But we'll get a handful of people that I'm sure they appreciate it. They just don't like what I'm saying. It's a big difference. Thanks again for the insight. Do you have any info on how the sudden increase rate change shocked the economy? The sudden increase rate change shocked the economy. Do I have any examples? Yeah, actually, I do. That's a good idea. Let me show. I think I have a perfect example on how that's going to work. So I'll put one together. I try to use different types of examples to give people an idea, but maybe it's better if we can use a real live example. That helps a lot of times. I most certainly will have to disagree. This is Mr. Charles. Fact of the matter being that for most people who have made this speculative, risky investment, looked at the fact that it had been taken place in Kuwait prior. Because of the speculative risk here, if it wasn't for comparing the Kuwait RV, there would be a lot less dinar investors. So to get to this point all these years later and say not to compare is almost like telling us to go sell back our dinar and move on with our lives. Well, I'm not sure how you could relate it together, but sure. I mean, I get that. When I first heard about it, I did the same thing. I said, oh, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I got 1 or 2 videos in which I went on to make a case for Iraq to be reinstated based on what happened in Kuwait. But after I took a further review into what really happened and dug down into it, I go, no, this is two different things. So like a lot of other people, you hear these stories, you kind of half-ass look into it, you don't really dig into it, you kind of skim through everything, you go, yep, sounds good to me, and you accept it at face value. I've done it a lot of times, and when I first started looking into this particular investment, so I'm guilty of it myself. But as time went on, I started to dig into it more, and then I noticed that actually there's no comparison. So if people heard the Kuwait story and that was a reason for buying into the Iraqi dinar, I get that, but that doesn't mean the story's right. You know what I mean? I did the same thing. There's another video I did of Kuwait versus Iraq, and I made a case for why I felt that the Iraqi dinar would be even more valuable than Kuwait based on the side-by-side comparison. So don't get me wrong, I've been on both sides of the spectrum as far as opinions were concerned. But like I've said now a couple times in the videos, the more you dig into it, the more you learn, the more information that you get, that also contributes to a change in opinion. And that's definitely been the case for me. Look, all that matters is how you feel about the Iraqi dinar. Go out there and listen to all the different types of opinions and information that's shared, and then sit back, digest it, and just kind of make up your own mind. Is this a real investment or not? People used to tell me, man, the Iraqi dinar is a scam, man. It's fake. I go, you're conflating things. You see, the dinar itself is not fake. It's not a scam. It's not a fraud. It's a real currency. You can go into Iraq and you can spend it. The people use the Iraqi dinar to commit fraud, to commit scams. That's different. But investing into a currency, that's not a scam. There's a Forex out there. There's people who buy and sell currencies all the time. So the process of buying and selling currencies is not a fraud. It's a legitimate way to make a living for some people. But yes, there are people out there who have used the dinar to commit fraud. And there's people out there that use the dinar in crazy stories to scam money out of people still. Speed and Chrome said, Michael's a troll. Pay attention to the video. They don't compare. Thank you, Patty. Why are you here? You believe the dinar is a scam? Yeah, I mean, that's Speedy's bringing up a good point here. It says, why are you here? You believe the dinar is a scam, so why are you here? Why waste your time? Oh, I know. You're a dealer trying to buy back so you can scam others. What's your business name? We need to know so we can bring unethical behavioral complaints to the U.S. Treasury and a fat lawsuit against your business. Yeah, that's taking it harshly there. So what I find about those individuals who believe that the Iraqi dinar is a scam, there's a couple things. I put them in two categories. Actually, three. I put them in three categories. One, they bought into dinar and got impatient and now are so frustrated they just call it a scam. Two are those people who are just trolls. They like to come on here and steer people up and cause problems. Three, the ones that come here and watch the videos and make comments are those people who are most likely on the border. They own the dinars and they've been trying to convince themselves that this isn't real and they should sell it. But then they go and watch videos like mine and other people who make videos about the dinars, and they can't quite let go of the dinar, so they're kind of torn in their mind. They're not sure what they want to do, so they figure if I just throw some negative energy on it, then people will comment back, and somebody might say something that will convince me totally not to give up my dinars. Future. So when will they reinstate the Iraqi dinar? With the punishment being over, how much will Iraq dinar be going for? When can we exchange the new Iraqi dinar? I have had this Iraqi dinar since 2004. Well, that's the 64,000, or in this case, 64 million dinar question. When is this change going to happen? When is the announcement going to happen? They seem to be making that announcement now, and that is they have no intentions on changing the rate for this year. But every time they say that, then you see what appears to be conflicting articles coming out because they're still discussing it. They're still talking about it. If they were truly just settled on the rate, they would just say so and leave it alone. But now, for weeks now, we've been seeing article after article on conversations going back and forth about what to do with the Iraqi dinar exchange, which is interesting because some of the articles that you read, it gives the appearance that they plan on reinstating the rate. I try to avoid going in that area because I don't want anybody to have any false hopes. But I am saying, look, this appears in this article that they intend to reinstate the rate at 322. Okay? I'm surprised by what I'm reading. I go, wow, maybe they are. Why are they going through so much trouble? It appears. Because if you're going to make the adjustment, and it's a small one, it doesn't seem to me like they need to go through so much hoopla, in my opinion. It's about resources, not time. Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit more than just resources. I've done plenty of videos that show you what affects a currency's exchange rate. How stable is the government? How stable is the country? Where are they economically? How stable are they? You know, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of other factors. One Kuwait can be one IQD. This is nice too, hopefully. Yeah, I'll take that. I don't think anybody out there would have any problems with that. Also, a thing I didn't mention in the Kuwait versus Iraqi dinar, when the Kuwait dinar was reinstated, the rate, the amount of dinar that was in circulation wasn't in the trillions like the Iraqi dinar. Heck, even if the Iraqi dinar is in the billions, that's still too much. But yeah, the Kuwait dinar had a lot less in circulation. That's why you see me making videos trying to at least get a good idea of how much Iraqi dinar is in circulation. Because, if they got trillions of it out there in circulation, it's going to make it very hard for them to do a major rate change without it affecting the country. But if they know how much is in all the banks being used as part of their foreign reserves, how much is in the hand of other entities, and they can account for 95% of the currency, they can say, look, we know 95% of the currencies are with governments and banks. And we're guesstimating that, less than 3% of it is in the hands of the public. That's something we could deal with. Let's go ahead and reinstate the rate. That's why I said when they had the dinars were stolen and brought into other countries, what they really wanted to know was how much dinar is there. They're trying to account for as much of it as possible. Remember, a lot of it was stolen. If they're going to indeed reinstate this, they need to account for as much of it as possible. Last thing you want to do is find out that you reinstated the rate and some terrorist group had their hands on, a couple $1 trillion worth of dinar, and now you funded an entire army. Do you see what I'm saying? I did do a video where I said that about 72% of the dinar that was created has now been destroyed. So that's a good thing. You don't want the less that's out there in circulation, the better. Why, I've heard they are going to roll out together. I heard the same. They're going to be 4 and 5 Middle East countries will share the Iraqi dinar, and Kuwait is one of them. Says Tweedledee, yep, curious how the pimpster hasn't heard anything about that. About what? Them rolling out to get 4 or 5 countries will share the Iraqi dinar? Are you trying to say that there's about 4 or 5 countries that are going to adopt the Iraqi dinar as their currency? I think is what you're trying to say. No, I haven't heard that. Not at all. I mean, I wouldn't understand why that would be necessary. I told you there was a problem with the Arab countries trying to do trade because the exchange rate differences were affecting trade. That's why the Arab Monetary Fund was created. 23 countries signed up on it. And when they do business with one another, they choose to use what's known as the Arab accounting dinar. And they all agreed on the rate that it is. The Arab accounting dinar is equal to 3 times the SDR rate. So as of March the 2nd, 2022, the SDR rate is equivalent to 1.39. So $1.39. $1.39 times 3. This is the value of the Arab accounting dinar. I did a video not that long ago explaining what the Arab Monetary Fund was and why they are in existence. But it tells you right here, this is what they use when they when these countries deal with one another. They use the Arab accounting dinar exchange rate. It says the Arab accounting dinar is the official and reporting currency of the Arab Monetary Fund. Its exchange rates are fixed by the Arab Monetary Fund, equivalent to 3 units of the SDR rights. So 3 times the SDR rights, $4.17 American dollars for every 1 accounting dinar. Why they would adopt the Iraqi dinar, I'm not saying it's not true, but I just don't understand the purpose of it. Oil was in the white papers. Do you win has signed off and says Iraqi is financial stable. Do you win has signed. I don't know who this is. Sorry, Pat. I'm not sure what you're saying there, but let me read the rest and see what's up. He says, do you win has signed off and says Iraqi is financials stable. Also, chapter 7, goodbye. Oh, yeah, you forgot to tell everybody that they're going to be using digital assets, not like the old days. What? We know they're out of chapter 7. They're not financially stable, not at all. So let's see if we get an understanding of the meaning of a country being financially stable. It says there are numerous definitions of financial stability. Most of them have in common the financial stability is about the absence of system-wide episodes in which the financial system fails to function, like a crisis. It is also about resilience of financial systems to stress. So what they're saying here is the financial system has to be resilient to stress. So Iraqi economy, there's no doubt that it is not resilient to stress. We found that out in 2020. 94% of the money they get to fund their budget every year comes from oil. If they were truly financially stable, then even if oil dropped down, it wouldn't affect the economy very much. But that's not the case. That's the other thing I've been saying. They have to hurry up and build the private sector. They have to find other means of income other than oil, because if oil does drop down again, then they're screwed. Their whole economy is screwed, and they end up having to borrow again. So if they were truly financially stable, they wouldn't be relying so much on just oil. They need to bring that dependency down off oil and generate other means of income to the country, other areas in which Iraq could improve on to help them wean themselves off of relying so much on oil would be like agriculture, of course, is a big one. Natural gas, I think, is the other one. There's a difference between oil and the gas, but natural gas as well. Exporting out to the world, foods like fruits, vegetables, that helps. Also, they have a lot of gold there, and nobody's really mining it. They need to bring in some pros to mine the Tigris River. There's a ton of gold sitting near the surface, and nobody's doing anything about that. That is another source of income for the country. So we need to get them from relying so much on oil to fund their budget. So they're not financially stable by any stretch of the imagination. By the time it RVs RIs, the money will be all converted into crypto anyways, and we lose. I'm not sure why they would convert it into crypto, unless you're talking about the central bank digital currency. Yeah, we definitely don't want that. 2025 is the year. I keep hearing for the exchange rate. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I've heard that rumor too, but that comes from them last year saying they're not going to change the rate for the next 5 years. Pimpy, when the dinar does revalue to the price you like, will you stop making videos, and could we have a meet and greet? Well, I won't stop making videos because I cover more than just one subject, but absolutely we can have a meet and greet. I don't know where you're at, because sometimes I do go to different states with Litecoin Lisa and Clint Westwood, and they do their crypto thing, but I do go out there and I meet people. I had a lot of fun. I've been in Florida and I've been out there to Dallas. As a matter of fact, I'm heading over to Memphis, Tennessee this next week. So I'll be in Memphis on the 11th, 12th, and leaving on the 13th. So yeah, the video was to say, I know a lot of people go, yeah, because Iraq is going to get reinstated because of what happened to Kuwait. Apples and oranges. I get it. They're both fruit, but 2 different tasting flavors. Okay? So no, there's no comparison. And the comment about, a lot of people got into investing into the Iraqi dinar because of the story of Kuwait. I get that. I totally get that. That doesn't make the story correct. I don't have any problem with being wrong. I would love to be wrong on this one. And this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that my opinion is 100% accurate. What I'm saying is, based on my research and using a little bit of critical thinking, just common sense kicks in and it tells me I don't think Iraq's in any position to do a 100% reinstatement. I think most likely it'll go up in increments. But also I've noticed in the articles recently that the language that they're using and the fuss that they're making, it really does give a slight impression that they're at least talking about the reinstatement. The truth of the matter is we don't know until they actually do it. But I do appreciate you guys checking out my videos and leaving a comment. I like to come back to them and just, share my opinion with it. And I'm glad you guys came along for the ride. Anyways, that's it for now. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.